Hello, welcome back to Final Fantasy XI with Ponzalot. How are you doing today? So, we made a video recently about Paladin and equip sets that Paladin needed in order to function. Now, I'm a Mythic Paladin and I've been playing the job long enough to kind of make my own sets. And a lot of people like my Paladin, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the 2017 new specs, new meta for Paladin, all of the equip sets you could ever want on Paladin, plus or minus, and we're going to get right into it, okay? So basically, if you don't know anything about the game, you can get a whole bunch of inventory full of equipment, and you can only equip 16 pieces at a time on your character, so all of the other pieces of equipment doesn't actually ever get put on your character. Now, everyone that's watching this video probably knows how the equipment works on this game, but if you don't, then that's exactly what it is. So there will be certain kinds of gear that would be better or worse depending on what you're trying to do, right? Okay, so for example, like this pixie hairpin has magic attack bonus plus 28 only when you use dark elemental weapon skills or dark elemental magic. If you use any other element, you don't even get that buff. So if I were using a fire spell, I wouldn't use pixie hairpin. But if I were using a dark spell, I would use pixie hairpin. That's just kind of in a nutshell how this works. Now, you can see I've got quite a bit of inventory, quite a bit of gear. All these different slots have so many choices that they can go through. So we're going to go ahead and look at what I've already put together. This is what I use on my live Paladin. And what I literally just finished putting together today. I will be making small changes in the future, especially with the TP set that I'll show you. But for now, this is what we have. So what you're looking at right here is a Divine Magic set. This is basically all the good Divine Magic stuff and Magic Accuracy stuff to get your Divine Magic spells, right? So you've got your regular RME stuff that doesn't really ever change. You're going to change the ammo into a Magic Accuracy and a Conserve MP ammo because Divine Magic spells are very expensive. And the accuracy would, I don't really know if the accuracy is going to help a whole lot, but the attack bonus will, and the Conserve MP will, and this is a good item to have in that slot for Divine Magic. Juma blah blah helm, whatever we've got here, it's got a lot of Divine Magic skill on it, plus 20 right there on the item. Magic attack bonus that helps with your holy spells as well, so this is definitely the item to put in your head slot for Divine Magic. Encounter's Torque. I just got this yesterday or this morning, I forget. I've been binging all day, so this item is really good because it has Divine Magic skill plus 10 on it. So there you go. This is probably the best item in the slot for that. Earrings. There's a lot of different earrings in the game. I like to go Magic Attack bonus. If I could find the inventory space for a Divine Magic earring, then I would put some Divine Magic skill earrings here, but I like the Magic Attack bonus because they go all jobs and they're on all my other characters use them, so I'm just going to stay with these. Next row, we've got the Omen Body. This is basically the one body armor that I use the most often on Paladin. It's like the end-all, be-all plus 3 gear for the job, so as we speak, it's the best thing to wear in a lot of situations. It also has Divine Magic skill plus 17, so of course Divine Magic set is going to have this on it. Going down the line here, we've got the Leyline Gloves. Now this has some Magic Accuracy and Attack. So that's really good if you're trying to get some holy damage. I don't have a divine magic skill glove as far as I know. So for now I'm just using the ley lines, and I think I'm going to keep using the ley lines because for all intents and purposes that's a lot of magic attack. Like a lot. Like super good item. Moving on to the rings, so there's a lot of things we could put in this accessory slot, but I'm going to go with just all jobs Stakini rings because it works. Divine Magic skill plus 10 right here between the two of them. I like it. Alright, we're going to go to the next line. This is a kind of an off-meta pick because I don't use a pet, so why am I using a mantle that's got a pet bonus, right? This is a decent item in general because of the Magic Attack bonus plus 12 on it. Even Ambuscade Capes, as far as I know, can only go up to Magic Attack bonus plus 10. And this is an all-jobs cape, so you save yourself the Ambuscade slot sometimes by doing something like this. So I'm going to use this cape for all my magic attack weapon skills. I'm going to use this cape for all of my holy spells, fire spells, whatever spells that I want to use because the magic attack bonus is there and also because Paladin, as far as I know, doesn't have any other divine magic skill capes. So in this slot, we'll just use this. You could maybe build an ambuscade for it, but let's not and say we did. Now this is a new belt that I picked up recently because I really liked the stats on it. It was just super good. It's also the only belt in the game that has any magic evasion on it that Paladin can wear. Hint hint, if you're fighting a monster that uses charm or some other sort of debuff like this, the magic evasion works the same way as the resistance to such and such, resistance to charm, for example. So like if I were to put on my staunch Tathlum, resistance to all status ailments plus 10, that's magic evasion plus 10, but it's only for status ailments, okay? That's the difference, because this doesn't take the evasion off of your Faraga that you just get hit with. It doesn't add magic evasion to your Faraga that you just got hit in the face with, but it will add magic evasion to the charm that just hit the party, okay? So that's what this does. So going back down here, magic evasion, blanket plus 20, super duper good, literally the best belt in the game for what it does. And as a perk, it has a healing magic skill and a divine magic skill on it, not to mention everything else. So for my divine set, I use this. For my healing set, guess what I use? This. For my resist charm set, I use this. It's multi-purpose. I love it. It's so good. Moving on, Odyssean. Now, some people will say Valorous is better. Some people will say Odyssean is better. I like to pick the item that I can get my hands on, first off, that has the most HP on it. Because a lot of these sets I will blink in and out of need to have roughly around the same amount of HP. That means that they have to be competitive with Sovereign gear, which is I'll show you in a little bit. That has hundreds of extra HP on it. So to close that gap, pick as much HP as on your gear slots as you possibly can. And so Odyssean is actually better than Valorous. I lied, it's not. Okay, some of the pieces on Paladin use Valorous, some of the pieces use Odyssean. Since this is a divine magic set and it's gonna typically be used for my holy spams, I'm gonna use the Odyssean Cusses because that has magic attack plus 14. I augmented it for this. So this is what I'll be using over the Valor set. But anything else that doesn't need magic attack bonus, I'm gonna go with the Valorous legs, right? We've got plenty of choices here. So keep that in mind when I'm talking about Odyssean versus Valorous, because some of the Odyssean pieces have more HP, some of them have less. So it just really depends on what you're trying to build. I find it much easier to get magic attack on the Odyssean set than on the Valorous set, so I didn't even bother augmenting the Valorous for my holy spell. So I will use the Odyssean set for the holy spells. Moving to the feat slot, this is actually a Founder's Greaves with perfect augments. It's going to have a lot of magic attack bonus for that holy damage, and that holy damage is comparable to what you'd see August do. And August is a really strong Paladin trust. He hits for like 5,000 on a Divine Emblem Holy 2, and I can probably do the same thing with this gear. But without this gear, I couldn't even hit 2,000, so it's a huge difference, all this magic attack. Huge difference. So you can do a lot of different things with your divine set. You can do like, obviously divine magic skill, spell interruption rate, magic attack bonus, magic skills, things of that nature. That will get you a divine set. Now that covers the very first set out of about 10, so bear with me because I'm going to talk a lot about all of these sets too, but I will be as brief and quick as I possibly can. Now, changing this divine set into a holy set is actually quite easy. There are some divine spells, like In Light for example, that don't need magic attack bonus when you cast them, so you would use this divine set for your In Light, and then the slots that don't have any divine magic, whatever, it doesn't even matter. You're prepared for Holy 2 at this point. You just gotta change some of these pieces that don't have the magic attack bonus on them, like the Reverend Surcoat plus 3, for example, because this isn't gonna help your Holy 2. This is gonna help your In Light, this is gonna help a lot of things, but it's not gonna help your Holy 2 and your Holy 1. So changing into the divine magic set. Give me 1 second, because I have a list of small list of changes that I'm gonna make to this equipment. I didn't save it in advance because I'm running low on room on my equip sets. So here we go. Okay, so we have to change the body armor Obviously, we just mentioned the body armor needs to be changed. We're going to use Founders because a perfect Founders is probably best in slot, unless you can get some Carmen +1, which is the this. Hold on. It's going to be this set here that you typically see with like the legs being the one piece that everyone gets. It's like the chase rare piece, but all of the pieces are really good, and they all give magic attack bonus. So I think this or Founders would be really good. So the Carmen +1 or the Founders set, perfect dogs obviously would be ideal. And then you've got your magic attack in those slots that didn't have it before, right? So the body gets changed. The feet uses the Founders Greaves, we got that there. The neck we're going to change to from Incanders to Sanctity for the magic attack +10. So that's going to be a quick change for your holy damage. Your rings, you don't need magic skills as much as you need magic attacks, so get your, like, if you've got your, I don't have them, but your elemental rings, your Shiva ring +1 would be really good for this set, but since I don't have that on my guy, and I don't want to fork over the 10-15 million gil to get them really quick, I'm going to show you what I've just kind of been ghetto rigging that's almost as good. I use the Arnavo ringlet +1 because I play Corsair a lot, and I like to multi-purpose this kind of thing. So it's got magic attack bonus on it. That helps. Every little bit helps. And then on the other side, I've been testing this and I really like the results so far. It's actually Mugen band. Now, a lot of times I'm going to be using Holy off of a fusion skill chain or off of a light skill chain, so it's gonna magic burst. It's also an instant cast really at level 119, so like I can magic burst Holy and Holy 2 at the same time. So having considered this and how actually consistent I am with the magic bursts on the Holy spells, in particular on the Holy spells and the banish spells, I've decided that I'm actually going to use Mugen Ban in my macro all the time. Because worst case scenario, I don't have my Stakini ring or my Shiva ring on, that's too bad. But best case scenario, I hit a magic burst and I get magic burst damage tier 2 +5. That's really fucking good, right? I tested it earlier, and it's hundreds of points of damage on Holy 2. I really like it. Divine Emblem that, you're talking 1,000 plus extra points of damage right there, just because of this ring. So, I might be exaggerating, but I'm thinking in the ballpark of 1,000 or high hundreds, right, for sure. So really good. Don't underestimate it. Test it out. If you don't like it, try the Shiva ring. I would recommend the Shiva ring in that case. But if you have this, you play Black Mage or whatever, and you have this, use it on your Paladin for your Holy Spell. Just do it. But if you play Black Mage, you should probably have the Shiva rings, and I just don't, because I'm Gimp. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't have them. One day I'll get them. Alright, what else gets changed on this set? We don't need the Divine Magic skill on the belt for the Holy spells, so when we're using our Holy and our Banish spam, we're actually going to change to Magic Attack bonus cape. Belt. So Eshin Stone it is. So you go Sanctity Eshin here. These are both Elberseal Dragon Drops, and they're both really good for your Magic Attack bonus sets. They're also good for Magic Attack weapon skills, because your weapon skill damage on your Fosha sets isn't as good as these. I've tested that too on a lot of different Magic Attack weapon skills, and the Eshin and the Sanctity is just better than the Fosha set, period. Plus they have HP on them, so there you go. And defense. I mean, it's got everything. I think that's about it for the Holy set, you guys. Most of the other Magic Attack stuff's already on there because I don't have a lot of Divine Magic skill gear. So a lot of the stuff on the Divine set's just Magic Attack plus set. So I merge the two and I make the Holy set that way. So this is what you would be looking at for your Holy set. It's pretty decent. There's Magic Attack in every slot, and that's important if you're going to try to do something like that. Magic Attack in every slot's what you're going to go for when you're trying to deal damage. And since Holy is not a dark spell, you use Jumalik Helm. You don't actually use Pixie Hairpin, okay? That's the difference. Now, this is relevant on Paladin, and I'll get to that. You're going to be amazed when I tell you this, because I tested this earlier too, right before the video actually. And I'm really happy. I'm excited, because I only use it on Corsair, but now I'm using it on Paladin as well. And you'll see. We'll get there. Alright, so, now that we've discussed the Divine set, and the Holy set, let's look at some of the actual base sets that aren't so niche that the players that are interested in watching this video would really want to look at, okay? So I've got a whole list of just equip sets here, and most of these are going to be for Paladin in this column here, and we're going to just go down the list. Let's actually cherry pick first because there's a few of them that are really basic that I want to go over real quick. You've got your fast cast set, okay? So every slot needs to have some sort of cure spellcasting or fast cast gear in it. Because I took a lot of defense off of this set to make the fast cast set, I actually chose not to use my jeweled collar. I don't have a better neck for fast cast, which I think you can go up to fast cast +4 now. I don't have that piece, so I am using jeweled collar, but because I'm a paladin, I don't want the +1 fast cast as much as I want the damage minus. So I'm going to use the loricate here and mix up my fast cast set with a little bit of tankiness. The same could be said for the headpiece here. I don't have a fast cast head, so tanky head would be what I would go with, right? This is not a worth to put on because it's only +1 fast cast, so tanky neck is better, right? So that's the rule of thumb if you're building a fast cast set. Fill the spots up, either don't change them or fill them up with tankiness and HP because it's really important. And then the slots that have fast cast, you're going to put your fast cast. You got quick magic, you put the quick magic in, right? You're using enhancing magic a lot on Paladin, so use the Seagull Sash here. Your Rudianos with your fast cast Aug is probably ideal because there is no cape that has fast cast for Paladin. Other than Swythe, I don't think Paladin can even equip this, right? So like, unless there's another random item in the game, your Ambuscade cape will get you there. Basically, everything in this game can be solved with an Ambuscade cape for every set you ever want to make. Like, that's basically it in a nutshell. You can just make an Ambuscade cape for that, right? This is my fast cast Ambuscade cape, period. Done. HP and fast cast. I don't even care about the rest of the stats. Alright. The Omen body has a fast cast 10 on it. Surprise, surprise. In addition to all the other goodies it has fast cast 10. So you wear that with your fast cast set, and it's a tank piece. So really good. Your ley line actually has fast cast augment on it. It's fast cast augmented +3, and on the basic item it's +5, so there's 8 there. So it's a really good item to use. There's probably a better fast cast legs in this game. I haven't found it yet, so what I went with was my spell interruption rate +30, because that's really fucking broken. 30 spell interruption rate is really high. So I like that. I think there's, yeah, spell interruption rate 20 here on my tank piece. That's another reason I put that there. And I think this is just the tank piece. I don't think there's any spell interruption right here. And I don't think there's any fast cast there. But you got a lot of really good options there, so you can see how the set would work. So that's basically, if you're trying to figure out what I would put on my Paladin for fast cast, there you go. That's what you would put. Give or take. Let's look at another basic set that every Paladin should have. It's going to be your idol set. Now, it's going to change depending on whether or not you're in town. If you're in town, you're going to want to have your fancy gear on. You're going to have some movement speed on, which we've got the Carmen here, so we've got that. But you want to have your really good gear on to kind of show off, or maybe some new gear you just got so people can see how you're playing the game and keeping up with the game. Because like for example, in town when they came out with the crafting headpiece, I had this in town everywhere I went. If I was in town, I was wearing the Midra's Helm +1 because I just got it and I was really excited. But otherwise, your regular idol set, town set aside, Epeen set aside, your idol set is very important. It needs to have some form of regen, it needs to have some form of refresh, it needs to have some form of global damage taken minus. That's basically it, and the rest needs to be HP and evasion. That's what you need. That's basically everything you need. There are a couple other things you could do, like I made some really weird choices, but I mean, we'll get to that. This is what I almost melee in, other than I changed the Carmen legs to the Sovereign legs +1 here. So I will change to that. Its path is the enmity path with the cure potency. Same with the legs. I believe that's the enmity path with the cure potency as well. Get to that. Yeah, enmity path with cure potency. Since they're HQ, I basically cap with those two because the legs actually have that ability on the item and augmented on the item. So I'm actually only like 2 points or 3 points less than cap. So I don't even bother augmenting my other Sovereign pieces with the cure potency and the enmity. I went with another path completely different. This allowed me to free up some other slots, like my neck slot and some of my rings and earrings, because I've got the tankiness here instead of the cure potency. Same with the headpiece. Basically the same thing. So we've got options, and the global set bonus that I get gives me another like +8, I believe it is, because I don't have the 5th piece. I use the Omen body. So another +8 global damage taken minus. So that's like a defending ring. So you notice my Paladin has no defending ring on it. That's because defending ring puts me right at cap or over cap in every category. So I get away with it. I can get away with not having it anymore because I'm so tanky in my other slots that I could put damage in the slot that the defending ring was hogging for the longest time. I can only do that on Paladin. I can't even do it on Rune Fencer yet. I can't do it on Thief yet. I can't do it on any other job in the game. But on Paladin, I can tank without a defending ring. Every other job needs the defending ring. Paladin doesn't fucking need it. This Paladin doesn't need it. Your Paladin will definitely need it. My Paladin will not need it. Okay, you will get there though, don't worry. So, neck piece. Again, this is a combat skills +15 that includes evasion. So evasion is on this item right away. So as an idle piece, it's not bad. Plus I can show it off. Otherwise, I would go with a regen piece here. If my HP was low, I would have this. I would be idling in the Bathy Choker +1. If you can't get the Bathy Choker +1, and you're just having better luck with your Elvish Shield Dragons on like Azure server being really populated, they do a lot of that. You could just go ahead and grab that Sanctity necklace with the regen +2 and you'd be fine for your idle set. That's completely fine, so any of those is fine. For rings, you're going to usually go with Churich, or you're going to go with an HQ Stakini because it's got a refresh tick on it. But if you don't have that, you can just kind of YOLO. Most people will go with Defending Ring and then like a Vocane Ring, which is basically a level 99 Defending Ring. Or they would go Defending Ring and like, I like to go Defending Ring and Warder's Ring, or Defending Ring and Moonbeam Ring, or Defending Ring and Fortified Ring, depending on what I'm trying to do. Those two combinations really good for those slots. The Warder's Ring I didn't show you, but Warden's Ring, there you go. So it's pretty good. So depending on what you're doing, you can do a lot of different combinations. You could do 2 Moonbeams if you have it, but I wouldn't waste the money on a second one if you've got all the other stuff in the game. So just think about that. For me, since I'm so tanky and I can get away with it, I use the Impale Ring +1 because it's OP. It's so OP. If I had the normal quality one, I would put it in this slot here too, but I don't. So instead, I'm using another OP ring. It's got triple attack on it. Now that's a weird thing to have in my idle set. I actually engage with, like I said, with this set to a degree, and that ring is what I actually fight with as well. So I use these 2 rings when I melee now. The Hitairoi ring is questionable to a lot of players. You'd be scratching your head. But if you think about it, I'm using a Mythic Paladin. My Burt Gang's got the most damage on any sword in the game for Paladin. My weapon skills are doing a lot of damage. I need the multi-hit, guys. In addition, I have extra damage on my multi-hit with this ring equipped. So why not? It's like I have Enlight without having Enlight. That's literally what this ring says. It's Enlight on my Paladin, basically. Whenever I get a triple attack proc, Enlight. That's awesome. I fucking love it. And I can put this belt on the item because I don't need the tank belt anymore because I'm so OP. So, downgrade on the tankiness just a hair to have this combo. Sarissa belt plus Hitairoi ring has a lot of synergy because of the triple attack augments on them. So, really good to have when you're tanking and you're trying to maintain enmity. So, I love it. I love this set. I'll be tweaking it every once in a while, 1 or 2 pieces here or there. I'll probably eventually get rid of this earring when I decide I don't like it anymore, but for now it's really, really good. I like it. It's got all the stats for an idle piece, so I really like it in the slot. I like the odd nowhere earring where it is too. If I had a second one, I would wear 2. But for the most part, you've got a lot of choices. Like, as you can see, there's a lot of choices to go with. This is just what I came up with recently, right? And of course the Staunch Tathlon, because it's OP. That's why. So there's the whole idle set pretty much, and mostly the melee set too. I might make some changes on some melee stuff, and depending on the accuracy requirement that I need, and the multi-hit requirement that I need, and the store TP requirement that I might need, I'll actually change out some Sovereign pieces with some ambuscade gear, and we'll see that here in a bit. So that is the idle set. So we've gone over some magic sets, we've gone over some skill sets with the Divine Magic skill, we've gone over, I haven't shown you an enhancing set, but you can get an idea how to build one, I'm sure. We've gone over the fast cast set, which is really important on Paladin, more than you would ever think. It's really, really important to have a good fast cast set, so get all the fast cast stuff you can find, put it on your Paladin. You can raise people while you're tanking. Do I need to say anything else? You can cast raise while you're taking hits in the face. Like, seriously? Like, that's so fucking good. So just get your fast cast. Just get it. Just get it. Stop delaying this. Get it. Do it. Do it. You need to do it. Alright, so we've got some more sets that I want to talk about. These are the fun ones. We're getting to the fun stuff. I like to save the best for last. These are some interesting things, so I'm going to go ahead and show you this set first. This is my requiescat set. I just learned requiescat says that it deals non-elemental magic damage, but it doesn't say magic damage, it says non-elemental damage. So it's really hard and subjective to understand if it's magic or physical. So thinking about it, I wasn't 100% sure, but I know that using physical weapon skill gear actually didn't push the numbers on the requiescat. So then I tried magic weapon skill gear, and it really pushed the numbers on the requiescat. So this is definitely a magic weapon skill. If you guys think I'm retarded, think about it. In Abyssy, when you use requiescat to kill a monster, it gives you a physical light proc. It doesn't even give you a magic light proc, because the game doesn't even know what requiescat is. So give me a break on this one. I figured it out. We got there. The requiescat set. Here it is. I'm going to equip it. We're going to look at my Paladin. Okay, so you've got your regular RME at the top. You've got your Egoist Tathlon, because why the fuck not stack HP, right? And then you've got some more stuff. This is magic attack out the ass. Requiescat is not a dark spell, dark elemental weapon skill. So you're not going to use your dark, you know what I'm talking about, the little hairpin I've got. You're going to use Jumalik instead. Perfect dogs on that. I really like it. Super duper good. Requiescat scales with mind, and this Jumalik helm has mind plus 10. It's so good. Next item you're going to use is going to be your Fosha set, but I would recommend again to use magic in these slots. So Sanctity plus Eshin Stone is going to be better damage output on Requiescat than your Fosha set will be. As far as my testing shows, that's accurate on Requiescat as well as the other things in the game. The TP bonus is good for Requiescat because it's not a base damage. It's actually scaled based on your TP. So add the TP bonus item plus magic attack augment as well, because I use this on Corsair a lot. So this is a really good earring to have for your Requiescat. In this slot, you probably still want to keep your tank earring because it's so good. That +1 earring that I always have in that slot. But because this is plus 10 magic attack bonus in this slot, I can swap out the HP for a split second to do a fuck ton more damage. It's fine. It's fine. It's totally okay. Let's go. Another option for you would be your Aesir Ear Pendant, which has the Conserve TP on it, because Requiescat typically opens weapon skills, so you could use your Conserve TP set with your Requiescat just to set up the weapon skill chain that you're going to try to close later. It's much easier to close the weapon skill when you have TP for the weapon skill number 2. So the Conserve TP helps you with that. So that's another option you've got for your Requiescat. But just blanket damage, you're going to look a lot like this. You could probably get away with changing the Tathlon. You could probably get away with a Pinfretto in that slot, but it's only 4 magic attack, and you're losing a lot of HP already. So I'm thinking just keep the Tathlon for the HP, because the 4, I don't think the 4 is worth it. I really don't. This is a busted plus 10 right here. Like, let's just not be greedy, right? You lost 100 HP already to get this busted plus 10. You really want to lose another 50 to get a plus 4? Like, I mean, come on. That doesn't... that's just not worth. Alright, so moving on with this set, I'm going to use the tank slot here because I don't have a Shiva, and I think tank pieces on my Requiescat set's not bad because HP is really strong. So I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use this on Requiescat because it scales with mind. Not because of the weapon skill accuracy, actually. Because since it's a magic weapon skill accuracy is completely irrelevant. You don't need weapon skill accuracy on your magic weapon skills. So your magic weapon skill is going to need that mind right there. So, because I use this on some other sets, I just keep it on me anyway. I might as well use it for requiescat for the mind bonus. I have another mind plus 6 earring, but I would only use it for requiescat, so I don't bother. Also, requiescat can use, if you're really pinching pennies and trying to use all job stuff, mind plus 5 right here. So you could do this, but it doesn't have the magic attack on it. So that's the one downside. I guess neither does this, but it's also plus 6 instead of plus 5. So you gotta think about it. Like, this really depends on what you want to do with your gear slots, because you are limited to the 16 gear slots. Now again, the leyline gloves, really strong magic attack, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep those. Weapon skill damage on the Odyssean cape, chest plate. I don't have a magic attack weapon skill damage plate for body slot for Paladin yet, so I will be just using my weapon skill damage body armor. I tested a couple of things with this, and I realized that the plus 12 Argo-Champ, whatever this is called, mantle, is not as strong as the weapon skill damage plus 10 on the requiescat specifically, because it also has magic damage on it, I believe. That is why it's better, but this cape is better than the Argo cape for requiescat, only for requiescat. So just consider that. If you're trying to consolidate, you can use your weapon skill damage cape on your magic weapon skill for a change, because you usually can't do that. You could also build an ambuscade cape with magic attack on it, like I have for my Corsair. You'll see on my Corsair, it's got weapon skill damage 10 on this cape, right? And then magic attack and magic damage on this cape. So this is better than this. That's what I'm getting at, okay? So you would want those augments instead, the magic damage and the magic attack, if you're trying to really make your requiescat deal damage. And if you use Aeolian Edge with your dagger on Paladin, you can also use that same set, for the most part. Because there's some wind dagger I think you can use too. Yeah, Levante dagger. You could use this with your wind elemental magic, but not with anything else. So that's another thing. Whole nother can of worms there. Okay, so last couple of slots. I don't really have a magic attack foot yet. I will get a Valorous piece, I think, soon. Once I kill that fucking golden kist in him. I hate that golden kist in him. He's so strong. But yeah, so we've got the weapon skill 7 instead of the magic attack. That's fine. But to round it out, we've got the Odyssean Crucis with the magic attack augment right there. So you got the HP, you got the magic attack right there. So good, so good. Some store TP as well, so you're going to basically hit really hard on your 4-hit weapon skill, because requiescat hits 4 times. Store TP will proc all 4 times as well, as far as I know. So you could get a lot of value out of that piece, because it's got the store TP and the magic attack. Like, you heard me right. There's 11 store TP on this leg. It's insane. Plus 14 magic attack. Like, super good. Alright, so that is it for the requiescat set. Hope you really enjoyed that set. It was a lot of fun to build that. I had most of it already laying around with my holy set plus my weapon skill damage set, so I just kind of threw it together. So it is kind of half-assed. It's not best in slot, but it's really nice. Now, should I show you the Atonement or the Savage Blade next? I'll tell you what I will do. I will show you my Sanguine Blade set, since we just showed you a magic attack set. Sanguine Blade is another weapon skill, and as you can clearly see, Sanguine Blade is a dark element. That is a dark element, guys. It drains target HP. It's a dark weapon skill, guys. So what does that mean? That means that when you go ahead and actually try to use an equip set for Sanguine Blade to augment the damage, this set is insane. It is insane, you guys. It's so insane. Like, my normal 2,000 is like 6,000 now. Like, no kidding. It's insane. Okay, so the same Pathlon, whatever. HP piece, more HP. Weapon skill damage is not as good as magic attack, but it's 7 weapon skill damage is really good. The same magic attack piece, Arnava for the magic attack bonus, Moonshade for the magic attack bonus. We're looking a lot like everything else. The TP bonus is relevant on this because it is based on your TP levels when you use it. Sanctity and Eshin combo for the magic attack bonus, just the same. Leyline, just the same. Argo-Champa, because this is kind of a different weapon skill. I tried both of them and it looks like Argo-Champa is better on this one. I don't know, it's weird. Requiescat, it's better with the Ambuscade Cape with the weapon skill aug, but I think with the magic attack aug would be what you would want to use with the Sanguine Blade. Specifically your magic attack, similar to Corsair using their magic attack capes instead of their weapon skill capes for lead and salute. So that's just a parallel to draw there. Now the body armor here could have magic attack, but I don't have one yet, so instead we'll use weapon skill damage. It's fine. And then we go to the bread and butter here. This is not item level 119, but it is literally the best headpiece in the game for any dark weapon skill. Any dark weapon skill at all, you just put this on. 27 intelligence is really fucking high, and on top of that you've got your 28 magic. Now the one downside to this is the HP minus 35. I was looking at that, but when I scaled the damage with a Jumalik considered, because it had plus 45 HP, which is basically almost 100 HP difference between the Pixie and its item level 119, so it's like value all the way around, except for when you look at the damage. When you look at the damage, the Pixie Hairpin plus 1's still better than the Jumalik for your Sanguine Blade. It's so good. Imagine if you're like taking a fuck ton of damage on your Paladin and you don't have time to cure because you know you're going to get interrupted. You don't have time to use your temp item because you know you're not going to find it fast enough. Click your weapon skill. Click your Sanguine Blade. Click your Sanguine Blade. Target that guy. If it's not an undead mob, you're going to fill your HP bar up with a set like this, because you're going to do like 5,000 damage. That's all going to come back as HP. It's actually insane. It's actually insane, you guys. The downside is you can't actually skill chain with it because it's an elemental weapon skill. Boo fucking who. Still really fucking good, you guys. Still really good. So that is my set for my Sanguine Blade, and I have survived a lot of fights I should have died because I had a Sanguine Blade, and I had a decent Sanguine Blade set. Not this good, because I just finished building this, but this is done, basically. There's magic attack in every slot, except for the ones that I want HP in. So it's basically my hybrid set that I put together to tank and to deal damage, and I like it. It's really strong. So that's it for your Sanguine Blade. So we've showed you an Alien Edge set, basically the same exact thing with the Jumalik helm instead of the hairpin, because it's not a dark weapon skill when you use Alien Edge, but when you use other elemental weapon skills like your Sanguine Blade, definitely use the hairpin, like I showed you. A couple other weapon skill sets we've got here. Atonement. This is an interesting one because if you watched my previous video, the Fosha set actually doesn't work with Atonement because it's breath damage, it's not elemental damage. So you can't use your Fosha latent effects because that is for your elemental and physical weapon skill only. It's not actually for your breath damage weapon skill. I'll show you the Fosha set here. It doesn't say on the Fosha piece, but on the other pieces that build into the Fosha pieces, it specifically says that you need to use an element aligned weapon skill. Well, that's the downside, is your atonement isn't aligned with an element, so you can't use these. So that's why I have HP in these slots instead of Fosha set, because HP would be the next best thing since there is no other item in the game for the slots that does weapon skill damage augmentation for these two slots. So HP. Also the ammo, because there's no weapon skill damage ammo for Paladin, you're going to use HP. You have to use HP, because you're losing HP when you blink into your weapon skill set, and it's fucking up your cure bombs that your trusts are going to be casting, and it's fucking up your cure bombs that your white mage, and your white mage players might be prioritizing differently based on your HP levels going down below 75%. So you got to watch out for that. That was in my previous video, I talked about this. So my Fosha set's gone, and I add HP. Headset, I actually don't need accuracy on my breath damage weapon skill, which is my atonement. My atonement's a breath attack, so I don't need accuracy because it will always hit, unless they're resistant to magic damage well, just magic damage in general, because there's an umbrella magic damage resistance that a lot of mobs have, where atonement will deal 0 or be resisted completely. But other than that, typically, and I know atonement's not technically magic damage, but as far as the game's concerned, their magic shields will absorb atonement. Like on Hydra mobs, for example, they have the Pyrrhic Bulwark, physical shield or magic shield. You don't get a breath shield, so the breath is tied in with the magic side on that one. So that's just a tangent that I went on really quick to give you an idea why accuracy is not important on this, basically. So your accuracy headpiece is not going to be needed for this. The Sukuroku that I picked up, not going to be needed for the atonement. Unless you're trying to skill chain with the atonement and you want the conserve TP, then you could use it, but otherwise you're going to want to just tank with that slot. Or get a Valorous or get an Odyssean with a weapon skill damage augmentation on it. That's it. That's literally it. Like the body armor here has a weapon skill damage augmentation on it. That would be weapon skill damage +4. That helps atonement. But my headpiece, I don't have one yet. And I do like the tanky slot there anyway, so it would be inventory -1, I think, to build a damage slot here, since most of my weapon skills I use the accuracy buff on the other piece instead of a damage buff. I use the accuracy buff here. So it doesn't make much sense for me to get it, but it might for you. So you could get the Valorous or Odyssean and augment it for weapon skill damage, put it in that slot there, and get rid of your Sovereign in that slot for just the atonement weapon skill. Of course, if you don't have a mythic weapon, you're not going to have atonement anyway. Well, I mean, unless you farmed it. But let's be honest, you have to have the mythic for this to be relevant to you. So this is a narrow audience I'm talking to, and I'm sorry if you're actually not in it. But you should be. Mythic weapons are awesome. So we've got a weapon skill damage cape here. In my previous video I had a moonbeam cape here because I didn't have this finished, but as you can see I'm still almost finished with the HP +70 that I'm going to put on it. It's at 66 right now, so I got 4 more augments to do, but everything else is capped, and that's the important stuff. So this is done basically for my weapon skills with atonement. So that slot's finished. So basically all this is done, right? And then for the Odyssean, I would probably want to get another Odyssean piece because this has an accuracy +20 and I don't need that for atonement, so I would get another one with damage +5 or damage +9 if I could get it. And then that would be the dream piece for the weapon skill hands for atonement only. Going to the earrings, I'm just going tank basically, because there's not much weapon skill damage. There's like one earring in the game that does 2% weapon skill damage, and I don't have it anymore, so I forget what it's called. But I would go HP in these slots, because HP is really good when you blink into a weapon skill set, and lose all those Sovereign slots. Weapon skill damage on the Sulevia's legging +2 is really good, 7% is really strong. So that's basically another Ambuscade cape for your fucking atonement damage. So we're getting there. When we add it up, it's adding up. And then the Valorous hose, I didn't have this last time we filmed either. I had a Sovereign leg in this slot, but now I've got the Valorous with 5% damage. So for atonement, I would use this, and for Savage Blade, I would use this because it's a 20 accuracy. These are perfect augments for the accuracy and the damage. If you don't use Dark Matter, then you can't get higher than these values, as far as I know. So that's basically my set for atonement right there. I think it's really strong. The only thing that I could possibly change to make it even stronger would be this head slot, and I would put like I said, an Odyssean or a Valorous piece with weapon skill damage augmentation on it, and I would get an Odyssean with weapon skill damage augments instead of accuracy. That's all I would be able to do, really. I could get a Carrier ring again, but I'm not going to get rid of my Orveil, so that's not out of the question. But if you have Carrier, you could use it in one of these 2 ring slots. And if you have the Ishvara earring, which is your weapon skill damage earring that I was talking about, you could put it in one of these 2 slots. But I would stack HP on the other slots that you don't have ready for weapon skill damage, for sure. And that's your atonement set. So you're welcome. So that's the atonement set. Moving on. Oh, by the way, last video I actually didn't have these finished either, now they are. So there you go. +2 Sulevias. Super good. Okay, so let's move on to another weapon skill set. This is your Savage Blade set. This is literally all of your damage on Paladin once you get your Aftermath from your atonement. You basically farm your TP, use your atonement, get your Aftermath level 1, 2, or 3, and then use that Aftermath buff to actually ride your TP gauge to 1000, and in that point, you're actually just going to spam Savage Blade for the entire time. Unless, of course, the monster is not taking any damage from it, and then you can use requiescat, because it's magic damage instead. Or you can hit him with breath attack damage with your atonement again. Or you can hit him with CDC, because maybe that works and the Savage Blade didn't, I don't know. You can do a lot of things. You could Sanguine Blade them in the face for a lot. But if you don't want to do any of that, and you just want a Savage Blade, you're obviously going to need a really good Savage Blade set. And I'd like to say that this is a really good Savage Blade set. So we're going to look at this. I'm actually going to equip it. And we're going to look at the character. Now, the same ammo that we saw in all the other slots, because there's nothing really better in that slot other than Staunch Tatham, and we're blinking in and out of this set, so just put HP there. For the weapon skill damage for the Savage Blade, you need accuracy and you need damage for Savage Blade. You need both of these. It's very important to have both of these. I can draw a parallel with just this food effect. If you guys are Beastmaster players, you'll get this. Let me look at some food stacks. Notice that I have a Shiramochi +1, an Akamochi +1, and a Kusamochi +1. Do you see the difference between these three mochis? The Shiramochi is all accuracy all the time, all day. Accuracy, no attack augments on it at all. Because you would use this against level 150 stuff that you're not going to be able to hit. So you need the accuracy, use this. 140 or higher, use this. 135 ballpark, you can use a hybrid set, which is your Akamochi. A lot of people like this piece for everything in the game because it's a little attack, a little accuracy. It goes with their build, which is already a gear set full of accuracy and attack, so it's really good. So this is different from the Shiramochi because it loses accuracy, gains attack. The Kusamochi is different from the other two because it loses all the accuracy and gains way more attack. So for low level 119 stuff, you use the Kusamochi on your Beastmaster. Bet you didn't know that. You use this because your accuracy is already pretty much capped on your pet, so your pet doesn't need any accuracy bonuses really. You just Tegmina buffet the whole server. You don't even care. The whole zone's dead already because you used the Kusamochi instead. So they're going to get that extra damage spike. So that's just one example, and I went on this tangent to show you the difference between gear sets for the different weapon skills in the game, because as you can see, this is accuracy and attack, different values of accuracy and attack for different content. The same thing can be said with these slots, because there's a lot of different pieces of gear in the game that give you weapon skill accuracy and weapon skill damage. And those are the two things, accuracy and attack, that I was just talking about, that you need. Savage Blade is like your Akamochi +1, and it's always going to be this way. You're going to use Savage Blade on your level 150 content, so you need the accuracy bonus. You need it. You have to have weapon skill accuracy on Savage Blade, because all the content you're going to use Savage Blade for is level 120 and up. So you're going to need that accuracy buff, but you're also going to need the damage buff. So you get your Fosha set when you can. So I've got that squared away. And we're going to look at some accuracy buff pieces. The Suke Roku is the best in slot for accuracy bonus. This is really good for Savage Blade. Well, if you watched my other video, it explains exactly why, but it should be obvious. The only other thing you could put here is more damage if you really are confident you're not going to miss your Savage Blade. I will tell you, it sucks to miss a Savage Blade with 3000 TP behind it. It sucks. So don't let that happen to you. Stack your weapon skill accuracy and lose a couple thousand points of damage, but hit your fucking weapon skill, because it sometimes makes you or breaks you. Sometimes it's the difference between winning and losing the boss fight because you missed your Savage Blade. Don't let that be you. Don't miss your Savage Blade ever, because that is the most important weapon skill on Paladin, the most important weapon skill on like so many jobs. Blue Mage, Red Mage, I guess maybe not, CDC's probably better. Corsair, like everything uses Savage Blade. It's such a busted weapon skill, and it's a hybrid weapon skill between strength and mind, so it's even more busted when you stack strength and mind. So, we've got strength and mind on this entire chart. This is a Refescent Ring. It's literally made for Savage Blade. If you can't see that, you're blind. Strength, mind, weapon skill accuracy, the three values that Savage Blade needs the most. Right there, it's all there. Okay, so some HP slots, let's just ignore that, because I explained earlier, we are tanking. We're not going to go full retard and then have no tank stuff on. Even when we blink in and out really quick, we want that HP value to stay the same. So leave some tank stuff in the set, but where you don't need the tank stuff, you're going to put your damage. So the TP bonus for Savage Blade is really strong. Really, really strong. The magic attack, not so much here, but that's fine. I can only have one of these. I'll take it. TP bonus plus 250 is better than nothing in that slot, as far as I'm concerned. And it's so good for all of my other values, like for requiescat and such too, like we talked about, and for sanguine blade. So like it's just a really good piece of gear. I like it the way it is augmented because it helps with my Corsair more than anything, and it helps a lot on Paladin too. So that's basically the whole set, guys. Got weapon skill damage in the slots that don't have weapon skill accuracy. That's basically it. Like, this is weapon skill damage up until the point where I miss a Savage Blade. The moment that I miss a Savage Blade, this Valorous Hose becomes this Valorous Hose with weapon skill accuracy on it. And if I don't miss a Savage Blade in a couple weeks from now, and I realize that I've got enough accuracy for level 150 content with Savage Blades, then I'm going to actually bite the bullet and get rid of the Valorous augments here, even though they're perfect, because I don't need them, right? Or I would re-augment this and keep the accuracy legs. I could do that too. I could keep the accuracy legs and then re-augment the hands for damage. If I need to shed some accuracy, I can. It's my point. So if you can get into that situation, that would be ideal, where you have an accuracy and an attack buff. Because just like with the Beastmaster food we showed you, there's various content, various level difficulties, and different content requires different gear, period. So sometimes you're going to need the damage, sometimes you're going to need the accuracy, basically. And that's about it for Savage Blade. Yeah. I mean, that's a pretty legit Savage Blade set, guys. I'm hitting 25,000 sometimes on my Paladin. That's really strong. Really, really strong. 25k. And in Rizanjima, you can actually lead your Savage Blade with a, I don't think I have the item on me because I used it already, but it's called Soldier's Drink. What you would do is you would use like all of your other temps. Like if you watch my videos, it's basically the combo is Braver's Drink and like Monarch's Drink and Champion's Drink and like one more drink. Barbarian's Drink, I think it is. Because I don't need accuracy off of the other drinks, so Barbarian's Drink. And then those 4 drinks, and then once I have all of those drank, then the last thing that I do right before I weapon skill is use Soldier's Drink, press the button to actually activate the item, and then quickly go to my weapon skill macro or my weapon skill menu, and use my weapon skill the moment that that item is gone. Because while that item is used, you get a buff on your character that basically not doubles, but adds a % damage boost to whatever your next attack is. So if your next attack is Savage Blade, you gain like 5,000 plus damage on it. I was consistently hitting for 20k, but every time I would use a Soldier's Drink, I would consistently hit for 25k. It's a huge difference with just Soldier's Drink. But, you know, plus all the other drinks that I was using, but mostly just Soldier's Drink. It's just huge. If you time it right, if you macro it, Soldier's Drink, me, and then wait 1, and then weapon skill, or wait 2, however long the wait's going to take for the item to be used, and then weapon skill, Savage Blade to the face, that shit's going to hurt, dude. And that's really strong. That's really strong. So that is my Savage Blade set. There is one other set that I'd like to show you before we wrap this up, and that's going to be my Store TP set. Now, I told you guys in my last video that I was working really hard on the Store TP set, and it is going to be the last thing that my tank Paladin is going to need to build, because obviously as a Paladin, the first thing you do is build your fast cast and your tank sets, then you start working on your skill sets and your weapon skill damage sets, and then after that you can start building your TP set. Your TP set is last because you're not a DPS. Like, that's period. So that's where we are. I've got all of the sets done for all of my weapon skills. I've got all the sets done for all my job abilities. I have all the sets done for all my magic spells. I even have sets for Dispel when I sub Red Mage. Like, I've got a Dispel set with magic accuracy stuff. Like, just a bunch of magic accuracy stuff. You can see here, there's a lot of all jobs magic accuracy stuff that you can use. Like this, for example. You just drop that right on any Dispel macro you're ever going to use. And that's fine. So yeah. So the last thing that we've got to show you is the TP set. I believe there might be forgetting a set, like the Enhancing Magic set I think I talked about briefly, but for the most part it's just the same as all the other skill sets, but just a couple enhancing gear is put in the place of some other gear. But for the most part, like I said earlier, you could figure out how to do that one yourself, because I'm too lazy and I don't want to put it together really quick. I really just macro in like 1 or 2 pieces for Enhancing Magic anyway. It's not impressive. But the Store TP set might actually be impressive. Now, this is not best in slot. In my previous video, I said that this was like an A-class Paladin set. Most of my other equipment sets that I showed you in this video are all S-class, like they're literally best in slot, just about everything you could think of. And of course you could make changes to it. I'm not saying that it's best all around in every circumstance, but I am telling you that at least one battlefield I've been in where that's going to be your best gear, like period. There's at least one. So it is best in slot S-class stuff that is fully augmented and fully ready to go and fully leveled up for the most part, other than like maybe your moonbeam's not a +1 because you don't have a 100 million gil, but that's a moot point. For the store TP set, I'm going to say that instead of ranking this at an S, I'm going to rank this at an A, because it has a lot of effort put into it, but it's still not the best. It's still not the best that I could possibly do. For store TP, in this slot you would want Slevia. So I've already got that, but I could upgrade this. And if I don't need to use this because I want multi-hit, then I can put a Valorous or an Odyssean in that slot with multi-hit on it, and then go from there. Anything with like dark matter augments on it with like triple attack would be really, really good on a Valorous piece for the head slot, for example. But since I don't have that, I'm using the store TP head. It's really good. You should get it. Looks like I actually didn't equip that whole set. The store TP set. Meh. Equip. Let's try now. Okay, here we go. Alright, so some tankiness. Still, you need the tankiness, but since you're in your store TP set, you don't need as much tankiness. Now this is an accuracy +10 earring, so I'm not going to take it off. If I'm going to gain TP, I'm going to need some amount of accuracy. Sometimes I am already over accuracy cap, but I can't always be over accuracy cap. And I use minus accuracy in this set too, so why not counter it with the Adnari earring +1? That's my argument. So I like this because it's store TP +8. This slot right here could be another store TP. I believe there is another piece that I could get that's got store TP, but I like the tankiness item in the hybrid build that I'm trying to work with here, and I would probably also change this to another tanky ring, so I'd have one tanky ring and one DPS ring. For the ammo, it could go either way. I go with this because even though the accuracy -10, I have an A++++ sword skill, so like I don't even care about the accuracy ever, pretty much. But if I am losing accuracy, I could just pop a food effect and I can get that accuracy built up, so it's not a problem. So I can rock the focal orb. A lot of people in this slot would use a Genmei, what's it called? A Ginsen? It's called a Ginsen. It's got store TP +3 on it. It's a really good item. I've been trying to get it for weeks and months and years, but I'll never get it. Eventually I'll get it, and I'll put it in this slot. But for now, the double attack and the attack is pretty good for your store TP set. So I would use this until I get a Ginsen, and then I would use a Ginsen. And that would be like the end-all be-all slot, unless I get something from Omen that's busted. And then like we'll use that. So that goes ahead and tells you a little bit about the accessories here. I'm using the Hitaroi Sarissifore combo because of the triple attack, because this is a store TP set and a multi-hit set, so I'm going to add that combo to it. Like I said earlier, it's part of my idle set because I like to show it off, but it's actually a pretty decent combo. From what I've seen on the parse, it's doing a lot of work. Whereas before, this was a Moonbeam ring, and this was like a Flume belt +1. Or even if I change this to like a Kentark belt with the store TP5 on it, it's still not as good, you guys. So like, I can't. It's too good. This triple attack set is just too strong. Plus, I just got the Hitaroi ring, so I'm excited about it. I'll be using it on like every job. But yeah, so you can make changes here. But I like this. I like this so far. I still like this Sinister Rain gear because it is perfect augments, and it does have double attack 4, and it is equipable by a Paladin, and it does have tankiness, and it does have damage on it. So really strong. Haste +6. Most of your shit is probably not much higher than that. This is a haste 3 Sovereign, and the Slevia is a haste 1, and so your Founders is a haste 3. So all these haste 1 through 3, and then suddenly you've got a haste 3 with an augmented haste 3 for haste 6. Like, you're capped haste with this. You just are. So when you put this set on, you're going to be capped haste. Plus I have haste on the belt slot, which a lot of people don't have haste on the belt slot. But if you're going to use ambuscade stuff, you need some haste on the belt slot, period. Or this Sinister Rain piece because it has double haste on it.
Stuff like that. You could use a colada, because colladas usually come with haste. There's a haste +1 right there. So with ambuscade, that's how you would build your store TP a little bit. But the ambuscade stuff's really good. It's really strong. Double attack, multi-hit's really strong. Store TP's really strong. Accuracy's really strong. Double attack is, again, really strong. Triple attack is really strong. More double attack in store TP. More store TP. Accuracy to counteract some of the negative buffs. More double attack. Store TP in the future, probably. Store TP in this slot, plus the combat skills. That's busted. Shield plus 15. Evasion plus 15. Sword plus 15. You name it, plus 15. It's really strong. And then the ambuscade cape. Now, this ideally would be a store TP plus 10, not a fast cast. I'm working on it, guys. I just had to bust my ass to build the last weapon skill damage cape for Paladin. So my next cape is going to be my store TP cape. I will get there, and then we'll have a best in slot ambuscade cape as well. But for the most part, your store TP set's going to look a lot like this. It really will, for Paladin. Maybe you can high quality some of this stuff, make plus 2s. Maybe you can find some really, really strong Odyssean gear and really, really strong Valorous gear that's got like all the right multi-hit slots that you need, and enough haste to actually get there, and enough accuracy and HP to get there. But this set, there are pros and cons. The pros are I can self-skill chain basically anything I want. Like with this set, the way it is right now, with enough trusts in the party that will give me such buffs as like March and Samurai Roll, for example, and like Haste Samba, these kinds of things. And if I have Celtius, he just gives you TP whenever he wants, like pretty much. So with all of these things considered, this set actually does self-skill chain relatively well. And the one downside to using this set is even though it's a really tanky set, it doesn't really help you past like level 130 content. It really doesn't. Like, I wish it did, but the higher level content you go, the less important the multi-hit's going to be, and the more important the accuracy is going to be, first off. Secondly, the more important your tank set's going to be. Period. Like, period. This is not tanky enough for level 150 content, or 140 content, or 135 content. It's barely tanky enough for 135 content. You have to be a really strong paladin. You have to be a really good paladin, and you can't AFK if you're going to use this set. If you use the Sovereign set, you can AFK all day. You can be a noob, it doesn't even matter because it's so tanky. But if you want to maximize your DPS and still tank, you use a set like this, level 130 or lower, and then you're pretty strong. I would say you could probably take this to 135 because I have the Mythic. So 135 or lower, use a set like this. If you want to go any higher than that, you're going to want to probably substitute some of these pieces with accuracy and damage taken minus. Like, if you can find a piece that's got accuracy and damage taken minus on it, then you would use that. Like, some of the Sovereign, I think, might have some accuracy. There could be a Sovereign path you could pick that has accuracy on it. You could use that instead for your store TP. That way you're not missing your level 135 or your level 140 mobs that you're fighting, and at least you're getting your TP still. And that's very important because your aftermath only lasts a few minutes and then it wears off and you've got to use it. You've got to use atonement again. Using atonement is a waste of time. It lowers your DPS when you use it because it's a waste of your TP and it doesn't do a lot of damage, and you can't really scale it to make it do a lot of damage. So having to rebuff atonement sucks. First off, getting the fucking sword done, let's not even talk about how much that sucked. Because you had to atonement last hit kill things that would only take 2% damage off of atonement, but you had to kill them with that ability. Like, it was annoying, because they would never ever die. Your auto attack was stronger than your atonement. Now my atonement's actually pretty strong because I have all the gear to back it up. But when I first got my Burt Gang and I was working on it, not the case. So it was rough. It was really rough. It was probably the hardest Magin trial that I've ever had to do, was like killing blow atonement 400 undead. Like, that sucked. Killing blow atonement 400 spiders or whatever. Like, that was not fun. But I don't want to go on too many tangents. We basically went ahead and talked about the store TP set and where it needs improvement, some of the slots that it might need improvement in. But for the most part, you are looking at like high level gear. You're looking at all level 99 accessories and equipment for sure, all level 119 equipment. You're looking at Sinister Reign equipment with perfect augments. That's going to be like almost best in slot in the entire game for anything. with the exception of Rizenjima with Dark Matter Augs, this is really strong. And some Omen stuff, maybe. But yeah, Sinister Rain's really, really strong. So if you find Sinister Rain pieces really strong, the legs, Sinister Rain legs, the Founder set's really strong, period. Like we showed you with the Holy set, it does a lot of damage on the Holy Magic spells. When you add the Founder's Magic with Perfect Dogs, not this particular piece, but you could use Requiescat with this if you don't have a weapon skill piece, because it does have a lot of mind on it. 25 extra mind, and Requiescat's a mind. And Savage Blade, same thing could be said for Savage Blade. If you don't have a better strength or mind leg slot, you could use this. Real easy to get. But yeah, the magic attack slots are really strong, and they are perfect. The body's not perfect. I've got to finish the body. I've got to get a better body. But the legs and the head and the feet are, and the body and the hands I'm still working on for the Founder set. But the only two that actually matter are, in this case, are going to be your body armor and your feet. And one of those is already perfect. So we're getting there. We are getting there. This is going back to the Holy damage set, which is only going to get stronger and stronger and stronger as I tack on more and more magic attack bonus. And as I try more and more Dark Matter Augs, because the more Dark Matter Augs I get a chance to try, the more chances I'll have to actually get that magic attack augment that I really need for that Holy set, basically. So my Holy set's going to get stronger and stronger, but it's already in the 5k range, and that's really, really strong, so I'm really happy about that. This Store TP set's really strong. It's got quite a bit of Store TP on it. I can self-skill chain reliably against a lot of stuff, so I like it. I like it the way it is. I do think that there's a lot of different ways to make a Store TP set on Paladin, so if you are looking at this and you're saying, oh, this is dumb, like, I don't know why you would ever put this belt on your slot, well, I told you it was for this ring. But beside the point, imagine that those are two different things. I don't know why your Solevia gauntlets +1 are there. Like, why? Because of the double tag. I mean, there's probably better stuff, but I don't have it. So for now, we're just going to go with the best Store TP, best multi-hit, best attack up, best damage taken minus, best HP plus, hybrid set that we could possibly make, and that's going to be our Store TP set. And that's it, guys. And that's the whole Paladin in a nutshell. That's everything. I mean, there's not a lot of spells to look at, and there are not a lot of skills required to actually use those spells, right? Magic skills. Like, you only got a few. Healing and Divine and Enhancing, and that's it, basically. Everything else is not relevant. Okay, but they're stronger because you have the gear to back them up. So, that's it for this video. I don't want to drag it out any more than I have to. Like I said, I want to try to keep it as brief as I possibly can, and we are getting quite long. So I really hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I really hope you enjoyed looking at some of the gear sets that we came up with for all this kind of stuff. Right? Just going over it really quick. All the different gear sets you could possibly make, really, for all your different stuff. And there's a lot more you could make, but this is just your basics. Plus a little bit more advanced techniques, basically. So if you watch this, you probably really know how to play Paladin by now, after having watched this and listened to me. If you get all this gear, I want you to know that you're a hero, because this took a long time for me to get this gear collection. I've been playing for years on this guy. I mean, I could look at playtime here, and it's not idling. That's me playing the game for all that time, pretty much. I don't really idle in this game that much. So about 600, at least 600 of those days or more is all game time. All live, all killing in M's, all killing and getting loot, proccing treasure hunter, all the stuff you would do in a Final Fantasy game. That's what that time is spent doing. So don't get upset if your Paladin doesn't look like my Paladin, because I've been working on this Paladin for years, right, to get where we are. But if you want to get where we are, notice how easy it is to get some of this gear. You can solo a lot of this. Bertgang can be soloed. It's expensive in gil and time requirement, but you can solo it. You don't need any help doing this. Well, the assaults, you might need help on the assaults, but other than that, you can solo this. Aegis, you can solo, okay? Not impressive. You just, a lot of time and money. This is probably something you could solo. The Gensen that you would put in this slot, you can solo it. The ambuscade stuff, you can solo all of that, okay? And it's basically every slot. The Sinister Rain, you could low-man that group if you really wanted to. So you don't even really need a whole lot of... What I'm getting at is this gear's not hard to get, it just takes time. to get. So the best thing that I would get, the best advice I could give a player that wants to get on Paladin and actually start working on some of these sets that I put together and put up their own kind of set or a spin-off of the set after having looked at mine, they've got some other idea, they come up with this new hybrid. These kinds of sets can only exist if you know where the gear is. So you have to know first off that the gear exists, which is the purpose of this video, and that you can use it in different ways, also the purpose of this video. But the other thing you need to learn how to do is use the wikis and figure out where all this gear is, and make yourself a tiny little list in a notepad of what gear I need for what slots to do what kind of stuff. That's what I did. That's how I made my holy set. That's how I made my divine magic set. That's how I made my enfeebling set for my red mage. I'll show that in another video because I'm not finished with it and it looks really sexy right now as it is. So we will get the last few pieces and I'll show that set too. But for the most part, that's it. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and that's going to be it for this one. As soon as I can type out my goodbye, I will see you guys in the next one, and let me know in the comments what you think about this video. Let me know in the comments if you've got some ideas for some Paladin gear sets. I would love to hear about it. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.